Hello and welcome to Lancs TV and this preview of the first Test match that will take place here at Emirates Old Trafford between England and Sri Lanka. I'm delighted to say that David Lloyd is alongside me. David, England had a successful Test summer, beating the West Indies 3-0. They now enter a new series under a little bit of a cloud though, because Ben Stokes unfit to play in any of those Test matches.
Yeah, that's a disappointment, but it's also an opportunity and full of intrigue as well. England are on a roll, just beating the West Indies 3-0. So there's real interest in Test match cricket going forward. And the World Test Championship, they've got to rise up that at some stage. The biggest problem is that they keep losing points because of their overrate, so they've got to address that. But I mentioned the intrigue, and Dan Lawrence is going to open the batting in a Test match, and he's never done it. And it's the sort of thing that McCullum and Stokes and Key would do.
It's interesting that there's been a bit of a history of batters being picked out of position to play for England. Number threes get the chance to open, and openers bat at number three. So it's not it doesn't take away from perhaps the way that sides have been picked in the past, but it's an interesting diversion.
Well, and again, the way that England want to play. That's why Dan Lawrence has played, because he's a stroke player. And Crawley's not playing, he's got a broken finger. So they want somebody to partner Duckett who will push on and take the game right at the start to the opposition. And then you've got Jordan Cox, who may or may not, but I think he will play. I think he'll play.
It's an attacking pick, that, though, isn't it? Because he's predominantly a white ball cricketer, or he's renowned as a white ball cricketer.
He averages just shy of 40 in first-class cricket. And he moved from Kent to Essex. He also plays for the Oval Invincibles, white ball cricket. But why have they picked him again? Because he's a dasher. He's the type of player that they want in that position. And another wicket-keeper.
Yeah.
He is a wicket-keeper.
Just in case.
And, you know, it's whether he'll play. And if he does play, it might mean that they're a bowler short, unless they're saying, well, Joe Root and Dan Lawrence will fill in as a fifth bowler. That sort of job that Ben Stokes would do.
Well, you can't replace Ben Stokes, can you?
No.
No. I mean, he is irreplaceable. We don't like to say that in professional sport, but he is.
Well, if I were... It's good being a selector. If you want to be a selector, an armchair selector, if you wanted to pick somebody very, very similar, Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark, who was at Lancs, he's now at Surrey. He's a big unit. He gives it a tap with a bat and he bowls about 85 miles an hour. So that would have been like for like. But, you know, they've seen it differently and gone another way.
I think whatever happens, you're going to see entertaining cricket here at Emirates Old Trafford. The pitch is regarded as one of the best in the country. It's got a bit of pace, bit of bounce. England attack, we know that. And they've got some quick bowlers in their ranks.
Yeah, Mark Wood would be right up there, and Gus Atkinson has done fabulously well, making his debut this summer. But I want to talk about the pitch. What you see is what you get at Old Trafford. It's a proper Test match pitch. And, you know, one thing that it doesn't criticise anything to do with the making of a cricket pitch here at Old Trafford, but when we play county cricket, we actually play on a Test match pitch. When we play 4-day cricket, we play on a Test match pitch. And so there's no reason that you go out and look at this. I'll tell you now what it'll be like. You've just said it. It'll have a bit of pace. It'll be an even bounce, which is critical to Test match cricket. Even bounce. You can play your shots. You can score hundreds. If you bend your back and you've got a bit of pace, you'll get the ball flying through to the keeper. And later on in the game, it'll spin.
That may play into Sri Lanka's hands because they're not particularly strong in seam bowling, but they've got young Jayasuriya, who's only played 12 Test matches, 71 wickets, bowling his spin, his slow left arm. So he's certainly worth watching.
Well, and they've had Hirath, haven't they, in the past, who's a wonderful bowler, and Murali, who played here, Muralitharan, was fantastic alongside Shane Warne, the best two that we've ever seen. So in order for that spinner to come into the game, they've got to get runs.
Yeah.
Now, are they able and capable of getting runs against England's attack? They've not been playing that well, Sri Lanka, recently. They've not played many test matches recently.
No.
But England would say, well, we're on a bit of a roll. They were in the doldrums prior to this series against the West Indies, but they've come through that, flying colours, 3-0, and they'll be looking for another 3-0 against Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka's got basically Chandimal and Karunaratne, who have played 70 and 90 tests, I think, respectively. Average over 40. They're their two main batters. With Angelo Matthews as the old stager, if you like.
Yeah, he is. He's vastly experienced, Angelo Matthews. He's probably now more of a batter than a bowler when he was an all-rounder. Karunaratne is a top-class player. And a couple of 3 years ago, you'd have, if you were picking a world 11, he'd be opening the batting. And so in order for them to get the best out of the spinners, they've got to score runs. They've got to get first innings runs, if you like. And so England should be flying out the blocks, get into their batting, and I think England are looking to finish games in 4 days, which is fantastic here for Emirates Old Trafford. All the hospitality, all the tickets, get it done in 4 days, and we all get a day off.
Well, it's a Wednesday start, of course, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, your 3 key work days, and maybe a Saturday or early Sunday morning finish would be great. Plenty of intrigue in the Test match then, as we've discussed, with England's quick bowling. You've got the new batters on the block, if you like, that we've mentioned, Lawrence and possibly Cox. And you've got a slightly stronger side, I think. Sri Lanka slightly stronger opposition than the West Indies were, even though they've not played as much. So plenty to come and watch. And also the fascination will be, how does Ollie Pope go as captain? Because he's got little to none captaincy experience.
They must have seen something in the changing rooms that he's got some sort of nous and authority. Having not captain sides, he might have done a couple of days here and there. And so it'll be interesting to see how he goes, because it's a big act to follow. Ben Stokes is, you know exactly who's captain when Ben Stokes plays, and he's quite inventive as to what he does. And so is Ollie Pope going to be the same way? Or is he more of a sit back and we'll just see how, a more method? You know, Ben Stokes is off the cuff, which is like McCullum. And so it's interesting to see whether Pope, who's just, he needed runs against West Indies. He needed them because, his record wasn't fabulous. And so he should be more assured of a place in the team. And can he have that authority and push the team forward?
David, thanks very much. Looking forward to the Test match. You'll be here most of the days, won't you? We'll talk about it. I think you've got your own little...
We've got a Legends Lounge.
Legends Lounge.
Lounge.
That'll be great. David in the Legends Lounge. Fantastic cricket out on the square and the field here at Emirates Old Trafford. Test match begins on Wednesday next week.